If you're watching this video, there's a very high chance that you're an adult over 30 and you've been yo-yo dieting for as long as you can remember. Now, it's always been something that you've taken through with you in life, and you've never been in that place where you're comfortable in your own skin and you can look in the mirror and just feel incredible, internally, externally, and just health and fitness, an integral part of your life. So in this video, I want to help you to know how you can finally ditch yo-yo dieting by doing things that you are not thinking about, that are leaving the dream result that you've always wanted on the table. To finally break free of that yo-yo dieting cycle that is just such an emotional, baggage and burden that you take through with you every single day. That's limiting your life. It's not allowing you to show up with energy, with confidence, to be present with your family, to grow in your career, and just feel incredible in your own skin and within the four walls of your head. So ditch yo-yo dieting. When we think about how we can finally stop the on the bandwagon, off the bandwagon, and finally achieve our weight loss goal, finally have the body that we feel most comfortable in. And by the way, that doesn't mean have a six-pack. That doesn't mean post loads of pictures online if you half naked. Like, this just means the body that you feel comfortable in, because that's going to be different for everybody. But I mean, in your head, that goal and that vision that you've always had, that I'd just love to be a couple of stone lighter, or I'd just love to be able to wear tighter tops and not have to hide away in baggy clothes. I'd love to be able to wear a swimsuit and not have to, cover up on holiday. Okay, so it's all bespoke to you and kind of what your version of success and happiness is within your body. And that's not defined by a specific, image. It's completely your perception and what would make you feel comfortable. And when it comes to finally achieving that weight loss goal and getting off the ditching that yo-yo weight loss cycle, one of the main things that you would think of, especially now as we come up to summer, is right, I need to start eating healthier, and I need to start doing HIIT training, and I need to, and that's kind of the core focus. It's always, I need to eat healthier, I need to do cardio and burn loads of calories, and that is the first thing. That's like your default. Okay, when you are fed up of yo-yo dieting, you go, right, nip it in the bud. I need to eat healthier, I need to do cardio. But this is why you're in that yo-yo cycle and you've never been able to break free of it, because you're missing some fundamental things that I'm going to cover now in this video. And the first thing is, if you truly want to ditch yo-yo dieting once and for all, you need to undergo an identity change, because your identity is the person that you believe yourself to be. And unless you change the narratives in your head, your belief system, you won't change your habits long term. And if you don't change your habits long term, then the results that you get are always going to be the same, which is on the bandwagon, off the bandwagon, which is, short term amounts of effort, seeing no change, and then giving up. And it's that constant cycle that is just never ending, and is just draining in your life, which you don't need. Life is busy and stressful as it is. We actually want to look and feel incredible so we can be the best versions of ourselves. So we need to go through an identity change. This is why within the Lean and Fulfilled lifestyle, it is the core coaching syllabus pathway that I take every single client through. The first thing that we focus on, alongside, a training plan and nutrition, of course, because that is important, but you have to change your mindset. You have to learn how to normalize bad days. You have to know how to build self-belief. You have to learn to be disciplined over motivated. These are key fundamental things, because if you don't do it, inevitably, all that happens is you put, 4 to 6 weeks of effort in, and then, something happens in life, a stressful situation, family, work, something kicks off, as it always does, and then you just give up. But if you truly want to ditch the weight loss yo-yo cycle once and for all, we have to learn how to, build our goal into our life so that when, excuse my French, shit does hit the fan, we're actually able to navigate around it. We're able to work with it, not against it. So we don't have to throw everything all away. We can still show up for ourselves. We just have to be adaptive and actually, change our approach so that we, have to deal with whatever we are in life, but still, keep on top of our fitness and health, okay? And still maintain some level of standards that allow us to be healthy, to be fit, and actually help you to manage and deal with the stress a lot more effectively. So that's the first thing. We have to understand that you can follow whatever plan you want. You can download an app, you can pay a subscription of £10 a month, you can work with a PT, a generic coach who's selling an 8-week summer shred package or whatever it is. Follow the body coach workouts on YouTube. You can do all of that. But if you're not changing your identity, you will never sustain the initial success that you achieve. So we have to undergo an identity change. We have to change the stories in your head. We have to then change your belief system. And if we do that, we change your actions, your behaviors, your perception, your ability to manage life's challenges, and actually your mindset changes because, we come away from that all or nothing mindset and we have more of a flexible, balanced mindset, one that is, more empathetic, one that has more control over their emotions. All of this allows you to essentially be more consistent over a longer period of time. That is how you're going to achieve the weight loss that you want and finally ditch that yo-yo cycle. So it all comes down to mindset. The first thing we absolutely have to do is go through that identity change. That is absolutely critical. And that's why it is the initial phase that I take every client through, alongside, obviously exercising and eating nutrition and general movement and all of the obvious things that, you and I both know about and how weight loss actually occurs. It's the mindset change, okay? It's what's going on up here. And if we can truly start to evolve our identity, then the result that we achieve actually stands the test of time. We actually change our values in line with the person we want to be. That is super important. Part of you almost has to die to, achieve and be the person, that you want to be, because to become that person, you need to be the person. And right now, if you're stuck in that weight loss yo-yo cycle, you are not that person. So changing that is absolutely fundamental. Now, the second thing that I want you to think about here, and again, this kind of delves into the mindset side of things, is what are you trying to prove wrong? This is incredibly powerful, because if you've got a holiday in 6 weeks and you say, look, enough's enough, I want to lose weight for it, I need to feel better, I want this really bad. You might put the effort in for 6 weeks, okay? Because there's a holiday and you might lose a little bit of weight, okay? And you feel a bit better on holiday, but you just revert back to square one. Because it's just surface level, I want to lose weight for holiday. But we both know, me and you both know, it's deeper than that. And going under the surface and understanding what you're trying to prove wrong is incredible. It is what will help you as well change your identity. It will really solidify that change. It'll become your anchor, your driving force every day. It will allow you to actually make yourself and goal a priority longer than just 4 to 6 weeks. I'm talking 6, 9, 12 months, committing to the long game. Okay, that's how an adult over 30 that has battled with their weight their entire life is going to truly change, okay, and finally break free. We have to understand, what are we proving wrong? For me, growing up, I really lacked in self-confidence. I really hated the way that I looked. I felt, skinny fat. I was called skinny Winnie, pigeon chest, you name it. And it really affected my body confidence, and that affected my self-esteem. I was more closed off. I'd put on a front, but, behind closed doors, it was really tough. And, that fed into some poor eating habits, self-doubt, and just generally not a good quality of life. So for me, my health and fitness journey, getting into the best shape of my life, building a body that I loved, improving my fitness, achieving things that I never knew possible, was proving to that younger version of myself that doubted himself, that, took on so much emotional baggage, through the younger years of his life. It was to prove to that person that, you always had it in you. And even at times when, you went through all of that and you had that negative relationship with yourself, with food, and really affected your self-esteem and, really limited you in certain elements of your life, that actually you always had it in you. It was just the stories that you were telling yourself. You just didn't back yourself enough. You just didn't give yourself the opportunity to really step and achieve your full potential. And, obviously there's a lot of regrets there, of course. And I kind of look back and think, if only things were different. But in proving myself wrong, that for me was just life-changing. And, I committed to doing a fitness photo shoot. I coach ordinary people, family, professionals. I'm not a typical bodybuilding coach and it's all about likes on Instagram and posing with your top off. I just want to help people, give them, their life back and help them feel incredible in their own skin. But a photo shoot is a really good way of kind of documenting you getting into the best shape of my life. And I did it before my wedding, a good 3 years ago now. Yeah, my wife will kill me. When did we get married? And it was more than just getting a six-pack and getting into cover model shape. For me, it was proving to the younger version of myself that didn't believe I was worthy enough of having a manly body, of feeling comfortable in my own skin, of feeling attractive, feeling confident, that, you could, and you've done it. And proving that to myself. There's one thing saying it, but there's another thing doing it. The sense of achievement, purpose and confidence and self-belief that I gained through that process was life-changing. It changed the whole trajectory of my life, in business, personal, self-belief, self-worth, happiness, fulfillment. Because after years of battling with it, I finally went, well, there's the evidence. There is the evidence that you need, that you are worthy, that you can do this, that you have done this. And that is who you are, and no one can ever take that away from you. So it becomes like therapy. It's completely liberating. And that's why if you get really clear on like what you are proving wrong, it is just absolutely life-changing. And then there's a final thing that I want you to think about, because, let's be real here. We're all adults. We're not young children anymore that are trying to impress people at the school, on the playground. And like, we're adults. We've got busy careers, we've got families, and, we've got life responsibilities. So we've got a lot of people around us that mean a lot to us, whether that be your wife, your husband, your children, your family, your friends, your work colleagues, okay, whatever it may be. But there are so many people, and you really need to realize this, that depend on you, that need you. So many people. So the final thing that I want you to think about here is, okay, are you worth modeling? Who else is this for? Who else is going to benefit from you finally being in a shape that you're comfortable in, finally prioritizing your health and fitness? You're going to be less stressed. You're going to have more energy. You're going to have more confidence. You're going to be a better person. That's going to allow you to be there for those that mean the most to you. A big driving force in what I do with my job, but especially my own personal health and fitness goals, is to show my children that, fitness is such an incredible thing that can give you confidence, a platform to be the best version of yourself, a platform to measure your progress and hard work in life, okay? And it's just an incredible way of expressing yourself and breaks up the mundane tasks of life. It gives you that sense of fulfillment and purpose in life, and really does allow you to be the best version of you and grow across all facets of life. If I am exercising, if I'm eating good food, if I look in the mirror and am comfortable in my own skin, I am a better person, period. Okay, because I feel better in my own skin, I'm more confident, so I'm more present. I'm able to be a better father to my two girls, a better husband to my wife, because I feel happier in myself. I'm not a shadow of my former self. I'm not burying my head in the sand. I'm able to communicate. I'm more positive. I'm nicer to be around. Okay, so for so many adults that have battled with their weight their entire life, they struggle with low energy, they hate how they look. That can affect their relationship with their partner, their sex life, but also being around their children. They don't have the confidence to, maybe do activities with them. They don't feel, that they can just truly express themselves and just live freely. They hide away in pictures. They don't, cover up wearing baggy clothes. And it's just like, it's not a way to live. Most adults that I work with on paper, they've got a family, they've got a good job, on paper, they've got everything, good family and friends, holidays, socials. But then the one thing they don't have, which is their physical and mental well-being. You are the vehicle that drives your life. You have to make yourself a priority. Otherwise, you will just go through life, illness, injury, negative mindset, poor well-being. And, you might be going on holidays and enjoying nice things and, be proud of the family that you created. I'm not saying that you won't, but, you're getting 10% out of life. You can get so much more when you go through that journey and you start showing up as the best version of yourself and you take ownership of your physical and mental well-being, because we get one life, we get one body, and looking after it is absolutely essential for your longevity, for your health. So who are you doing it for? Okay? Get really clear on that, because if you're an adult over 30, this isn't playground, politics and messing about, and this is your future health we're talking about. So who else benefits? How is that going to improve your marriage, your relationship with your children, your relationship with yourself? Living years of hating how you look and feel and all of the negative connotations that come with that for you, where not be able to go clothes shopping, hiding away in pictures, feeling guilty for enjoying a piece of cake because you feel like you're fat and overweight. All of these things, and you know what I'm talking about. You don't have to bear that burden for the rest of your life. It is draining, it is frustrating, and it doesn't need to happen. So if you can focus on evolving your identity, if we can truly understand what we're trying to prove wrong, and if we can actually be able to go, like, who am I doing this for? You start to get into the right mindset. And then when you commit to changing and actually working on these things, not just following a random plan, but committing to your goals long term, you can achieve incredible things. So this is the work, that I do inside the Leaner Fulfilled Lifestyle, helping, adults over 30 finally achieve their dream body and healthy lifestyle. not just achieve it, but sustain it for life, and how that allows you to enjoy more success, have more confidence, and just less worry in life. So showing up as the best version of yourself. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you have any questions, please let me know. And yeah, see you in the next one.